gentlemen, the first three in a remarkable Canadian Grand Prix. Mika Hakkinen, Giancarlo Fisichella and Eddie Irvine. Mika, the first ever race to finish under a safety car. Your previous best here, 5th. An excellent victory. How do you feel?
I feel incredible. It was excellent race, definitely, and I was very pleased about the way the race was going in early stages. Anyway, when Michael was leading, because I was comfortable with the car, and I was just able to go quicker if I wanted to, but there was no reason for it because the level of risk what could have happened, and then I saw Michael going off, and I don't know exactly what happened, but turned up to be very good for me. That's racing, and here I am, won the race, great feeling.
When you saw Michael in the wall, did you think about Imola?
I did actually. I did actually, and I remember saying that before the Barcelona, our car is extremely difficult to drive, and now it is better. It is definitely more consistent car. You can push the car more on the limit, and you can keep it on the limit the car longer time. But obviously, it has turned other way around. It looks like these guys now have difficulties.
Mika, thank you. Giancarlo, you must love Canada. 3 years, 3 podiums, second again. A race-long battle with Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Tell us the story of your race.
Yes, this place for me is it's very very lucky for me. I am so pleased about the result today, and my target was to score some points, and I am on the podium. I am the second position. That is great. The strategy was perfect. Just at the beginning of the race, with a lot of fuel, it was very difficult to drive a car because there was a lot on the steering. But then with half tank, was much better. When I lost my second position with, I think, Panis and Badoer, I don't know who was, I was very upset for that because they were 1 lap behind me, and for them I lost the position. But then Heinz-Harald spun off, and I gained the second position. It's a great position today.
Giancarlo, thank you. Eddie, you probably had the most eventful race of anybody. After a reasonably quiet start, after the first safety car, an incident with David, how did you see it?
Well, the start of the race, I just looked after the brakes and tried to go as fast as I could without, really pushing the car too much. And then I started pushing, and of course the safety car came out, and then, well, I forget, there was 2 cars in front of me, 2 back markers, and one of them went really badly through the dirt, through the chicane, and I got it on my tyres, and I just turned left coming onto the straight, and it just kept going straight towards the wall, and I had to just back off. Of course, that allowed DC to get a run. And then we were side by side through the first corner, but he went very, very wide, and then I just took the next one, and he just clipped my rear wheel and spun me. And then it got fun. It was after Barcelona. Jesus.
It got quite controversial, actually, because in the way you went past Herbert. How did you see that?
Well, he was a lot slower than me. It's great we have a bit of controversy in Formula 1, isn't it? Yeah, I was down the inside of him, and the two of us just brake right on the limit, and I was on the dirt on the inside, and I could have tried to make the corner, but I might have lost it, so I thought it was better just to go straight. And I don't know what happened to Johnny, but he seemed to lose a lot of time as well, so I don't know whether he followed me through it or whether he made the corner or not. I don't know.
Eddie, thank you. Mika, we now move on to Magny-Cours with you in the lead of the World Championship, but it's another circuit where Ferrari have won for the last 2 years. What's the programme going forward?
Well, obviously we're going to do testing in end of next week, and concentrating on developing a car, and like we see, our car is now a stronger car now, it's more reliable car. So in the testing we are able to now to concentrate developing a car. We don't have to worry about if the car going to break down all the time. That's the reality, and it's a strong car at the moment, and so we can go for testing now and develop the car consistently. That way we can make it faster, and I'm really looking forward, and we'll see what happens.
Congratulations, gentlemen. And now Mika and Giancarlo, a word in your own language, please.
Canadian Grand Prix. Don't worry, Coronation Street is right around the corner, but Tony Jardine, we might just have seen a pivotal race here.
I'm afraid so. I think Ferrari and Michael Schumacher are going to rue that error. That is a terrible one. Now 4 points behind and coming up to, you know, the midpoint of the season. Now look at this. The weakness of Michael Schumacher. He likes to be the hunter. In this case, he was being hunted. He made a grave error, and I think he lost concentration in traffic, which is why he ran over the curbs. We know that corner's been slippery. It's been acting like a magnet since 1992 when Nigel Mansell first went off on it. It's a huge mistake for Ferrari.
There's a sign on that wall that says Bienvenue à Quebec, welcome to Quebec, and they welcome their favourite son, Jolly Jack, as well.
I know, but this is another thing, because there's a sign on there for the casino, and you take a gamble every time you go to that corner. And always Villeneuve tries too hard at home. The only time he did all right was here in '96 when he was second behind Damon Hill. Here it is. He went off there in 1997. He climbed out banging his hump. He's done it yet again. He can't control his enthusiasm, and he's hurt his feet. He got a good slam in the front, but safety again at the foremost. The cars are safe.
Absolutely. I mean, people have said in the last few weeks Formula One's boring, no overtaking. I mean, they must have been joking after what we saw today. And Eddie Irvine, if there was one man determined to put on a show, it was him.
But Eddie took all the turbulence in the face. Now look at this, 50-50 after the safety car had gone in. And that is a 50-50 because Coulthard squeezed Irvine up onto the curb. Irvine put in a massive acceleration down the outside and through to 2 to get past, and unfortunately there was a touch, as you'll see from the outside. Now I think David Coulthard, he took a risk, but he had to go for it. He was going for second place there after that Schumacher incident.
Mind you, it cost him dearly, that one, didn't it, Coulthard?
Yes, it did. He dropped back to 8th. Then, of course, he'd been speeding in the pit lane, so he was outside of the point, so it's a pity. But at least he had a big go there. There's nothing else for it.
Yeah, and little Johnny Herbert did well here as well, didn't he?
He's turning the corner now. He's getting to grips not just with the Stewart, but Gary Anderson's been very concerned about his performance in qualifying. In racing, he's been quite good, but he's always started too far back. He really was on top of that Stewart in this race, and the power of the Ford engine. This is the first race under Ford control, of course, the Ford Motor Company in charge of the car, and he held off Irvine for a long time, and all Irvine could do in the end was to muscle through.
Disappointment again for Damon Hill here, but Heinz-Harald Frentzen had a great race until he went off as well, and they were worrying moments for him.
Yeah, a great shame for Heinz-Harald Frentzen, who's in second place. Now, we didn't see actually what happened, but I believe that was down on turn 3 when it obviously went in very heavily. The car must have gone up in the air there. You can see Sid Watkins on the inside, Professor Sid Watkins helping him through there. And he's okay, he's just had a bit of a knock, and I'm sure he'll be fine and back in action in France in 2 weeks' time.
Right, I think we just have confirmation of how things stand after the race 6 of the Formula One Championship. And here we go. Mika Hakkinen back on top. 4 points clear now of Michael Schumacher, and Eddie Irvine up there on the podium again in third. Frentzen and Fisichella fourth equal, and Coulthard and Schumacher up there as well. And Ferrari still holding the lead in the Constructors' Championship as well. Okay, just a brief final thought from you, Tony.
Well, it's been fairly breathless, hasn't it, in Montreal? I mean, you didn't need to turn the heat up anymore. Ferrari have turned the heat up on themselves and given the advantage to McLaren.
Righto, Tony Jardine, thank you very much indeed. Let me just remind you, more reaction in our highlight show here on ITV a bit later tonight. And in a fortnight's time, we go back to Europe for the French Grand Prix at Manicourt, and you can have the full ITV F1 service throughout the weekend. The qualifying live on the Saturday morning, our build-up to the race starting at 12:15 on the Sunday, and highlights at 11:45. Well, you know, Mika Hakkinen's only finished once here in 7 starts until today. Michael Schumacher hit the wall, and the Finn kept his cool in superb style. High temperatures, high drama in Montreal. I know you'll have all enjoyed it back home. Good night. Podium in 8 starts in Montreal, another 10-point maximum for the world champion.
Everything just went perfect, you know. I won the race. Okay, Michael went off, he made a mistake or whatever happened, but you know, it's great to finish like this. It's just fabulous for the team. It motivates a lot of people to work harder. It's nice to see our car is reliable, which is important.
So let's continue.
Your views on Eddie Irvine?
Yeah, I think we had a good battle into that first corner. He made one manoeuvre to the left to block that part of the circuit, so I went to the outside going into the first corner. I managed to pass him, and he was very fair there. When we go into the second corner, I was on the inside, and I understand he tried to go to the outside to overtake me again, but I think he turned in a little too early because I'm on the inside. I can't disappear. You know, the only way for me to not hit him was to go on the grass, and that's not the racetrack. So ultimately, we both continued, and of course he scored some points, more than I did. But he was lucky to do that. So I think, you know, having given me room at the first corner, and I tried to give him room at the second corner, then we could have avoided an accident.
I got under some dirt coming through the chicane. The two back markers that were in front of me in the pace car, one of them cut right across the curb through all this dirt on the track. I picked it up and understeered wide on it, and DC got a run at me. I took the inside, he took the outside, and he didn't quite make the corner. He stood very, very wide and went off on the outside, and then I just got this tap on the right-hand rear wheel whenever I was taken into the hairpin. So I assumed DC was in there, but I couldn't see him.
I think Eddie was very strong as well, as you saw, and well, certainly after Barcelona it was entertainment, wasn't it? So there's people who complain that Barcelona just need to hold back a bit and wait for races like this.
How do you explain the turnaround? In Spain you were so slow, in here you're so quick.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe because yeah, it's a quick circuit. We have the new wind, and we have an old system, mechanically old system. Maybe it's for that. The last few races there was a lot on the steering and the car very nervous on the rear. Now, today there was just some on the steering, but quite good rear end.
Well, John, are you pleased to talk to me now? Yeah, he's all sweaty. Does that mean yes?
Well, I can stop giving you hassle now for meeting you too often. No, I'm very happy for the team especially for the 5 car, my team, my crew, after not finishing the first 5, and then it was unlucky with Rubens at the start. So it's good for the team to get a couple of points.
Work hard for it. Tell me about the spat with Irvine.
Well, it was different. I knew he was there, and I obviously knew he was a bit quicker, but I was just trying to be quick in the right places. And I think it was a bit naughty what he did because he had no intention of going around the corner. So it would have been better if he'd have done it fairly.
Canada used to be our lucky hunting ground. I think a brake disc or something must have broke. You could just see a puff of brake dust come out of the tyre just in his braking area, which was not a tyre brake. It was a very dusty brake, which is a great shame because he drove fantastic.
You seem to be able, particularly in the latter stage of the races, to really just take it quite easy. Was that the case?
Yeah, just pure talent what I have.
And could this be a pivotal race? Hakkinen leading the championship for the first time in '99. Irvine still third. Fisichella moving up alongside Frentzen in fourth, and Ralf Schumacher improving as well after a good one in the Williams. Ferrari's lead has been cut again in the constructors. It's down to 9 points now. Jordan still third, and Benetton overtaking Williams. Right then, let's have a word with Tony Jardine. Tony, we're all wondering about the start and more mayhem there.
Traditionally, it's such a bottleneck into turn 1, and this one was really dramatic indeed. Just look at this, because Schumacher got away well, but Hakkinen had got into second place, but behind them Trulli had come all the way down the inside. Carbon copy of last year. Wirtz did it. He slid down the inside, nowhere to go, over the grass, picked up Alasia. Look at the wreckage there to that Prost. That is most unfortunate. Alasia is his favourite race, and he gets taken out. And Paul Barrichello got injured as well and limped around and finally retired.
The race was starting perhaps to look a little bit predictable, and all of a sudden, Schumi, bosh, straight into the wall.
That really, for me, is unreal. Just watch this. He was coming through the back markers of the traffic into this turn 14, slap, bang. That's a big hit right into the Quebec signs at the side. He's not very good when he's leading a race. He made a mistake. I know it's dusty and dirty down there, but it has been all weekend, and over the curbs, unbalanced the cars. You know, when he's coming from behind, he's the tiger. He's always hunting his prey. When he's at the front, he lapses into some sort of concentration, and that is a very expensive error for Ferrari at this time of the season. They've lost the lead of the World Championship.
Saw Schumacher bashing his old helmet there. Villeneuve did the same, didn't he, last year? And goodness me, he's done it again.
Yeah, but this is they're in good company. 3 world champions have eaten the concrete and then bitten dust because of it on this circuit. Mansell went off there in '92. Villeneuve went off there in '97. Hill's been off there. Now he's limping a little bit because that was a big crash for Jacques Villeneuve, and he always tries too hard at home. The only good finish he had was in 96 when he was second behind Hill.
Lots of drama in this race, and our man of the race has got to be Eddie Irvine.
Eddie Irvine was sensational, not just because of the working done. Look at this after one of the restarts. The safety car went in 50-50 between Coulthard and Eddie Irvine. Coulthard was trying to snatch that second place after they'd been bunched off after the safety car. Irvine not having any of it. Look at this. Irvine forced up onto the curbs by David. David gets on the inside. Irvine accelerates around the outside and comes back onto him. And both of them managed to regain the track somehow.
Great to see Johnny Herbert back in the points. It's been a long, long while, and he had a dice with Irvine as well.
I think Johnny Herbert is turning the corner. He held off Eddie Irvine for a long time, taking the pressure, but behind him, Eddie Irvine had been taking all that bad air, all the buffeting. The only thing that he could do was to muscle through, as he did, and get past Herbert finally. Man of the match, definitely Eddie Irvine.
Absolutely. Heinz-Harald Frentzen had a nasty crash. He's been taken to hospital. Nothing too serious, you think, just for observation. A big bash for Heinz after a very good race.
Yeah, well, we suspect, and the team suspect, that the brakes failed there for him. He had a second place in Australia. He was heading for second place here. There's Sid Watkins, the professor, the doctor, on the inside holding Heinz-Harald. And you know, it's enormous impact there. Your knees go together, so I would think he's had a bit of a knock.
Damon Hill, like Villeneuve and Schumacher, could only say, I dropped a ricket.
Well, there's a magnet on that wall somewhere, isn't there? And as I say, he's in good company. He's one of the 3 world champions that went off there. And oil flags were out before that, so I think there was a little bit of oil as well as the dust. So Damon's in good company, just a mistake. Yeah.
Very quick final thoughts from you, Tony.
Well, I think this is pivotal. I think, you know, McLaren have now turned the thing around. Ferrari are going to be doing the chasing, and it's Ferrari that have been doing all the leading so far. What a season we're in for.
Thank you, Tony. Here's your rundown. Hakkinen conquers his jinx circuit. Best of the season for Fisichella. Irvine's excellent form continues. Ralf Schumacher scores again for Williams. Johnny Herbert's first point since Australia last year. First finish, first point for Diniz. Coulthard 7th, not what he wanted. Genet and Panis a lap down. Badoa 2 laps adrift. The unlucky Frentzen lost his brakes. He's classified 11th. Zanardi had transmission failure. Takaki's hydraulics went. Villeneuve and Michael Schumacher both crashed out at turn 14. De La Rosa's transmission failed. Hill hit the same advertising hoarding as Villeneuve and Schumacher. Barrichello never recovered from his bump at the first corner. Zonta, another casualty at turn 14. Wirtz broke his drive shaft in that early smash. Alesi, another victim, and he blames Trulli, who also failed to complete a lap. OK, then next stop, France in a fortnight. Qualifying live from Manicourt, 11:30 on the Saturday morning. Build up to the race from 12:15 on the Sunday. Highlights 11:45 on the Sunday night. Right, Mika Hakkinen has stormed back in Canada, and so has Formula One. High drama and a piece of history as well. Can't be bad. Good night.
If you would like to know more about Formula One, the website address sponsored by F1 Racing Magazine is www.itv-f1.com.
Racing champion Damon Hill ended speculation about his future today by announcing that he'll retire at the end of the season. After 7 years in the sport, 38-year-old Hill said that he'd fulfilled his ambitions. Here's our sports reporter, Peter Staunton.
It was the moment Damon Hill realised his Formula One career was going nowhere fast. A mistake on Sunday damaged only the car and his pride, but another race had ended in disappointment.
And that is Damon's 4th retirement from 6 races.
For the oldest man on the grid, past glories suddenly counted for nothing.
For the first time, he's being outdriven by his teammate, Heitz Harold Frentzen. And I suspect it's all come together and he's just lost a bit of motivation.
In reality, the champagne was going flat as soon as he won the world title. A move to the back of the grid outfit Arrows helped him cash in on his crown. But there was precious little success until he joined the Jordan team, where he managed 1 victory against the odds last season. But he'll forever be remembered for his 21 victories in the Williams, which began following Ayrton Senna's fatal accident.
After he died, Damon really did support the team very, very strongly and made an exceptional contribution, and indeed almost won the title in the last race.
Indeed, most of his fans will forever claim that Hill was denied another world title by Schumacher's ruthless manoeuvre. It took 2 years to get his revenge, beating the German in '96 and claiming his place in Formula One history. Peter Staunton, ITN Sport.
From Formula One racing at the end of the season. The 1996 world champion, who now drives for the Jordan team, said he'd fulfilled his ambitions.
The lights go out and the Japanese Grand Prix is go!
In the world-beating Williams car, Damon Hill's finest hour came at Suzuka in Japan in 1996 when he won the World Drivers' Championship. Hill won 22 Grand Prix in his 7-year Formula One career. While with the Williams team, he had a long-running scrap with the German driver Michael Schumacher. Schumacher won the Drivers' Championship by 1 point ahead of Hill in '94, after this crash forced both men off the track in Adelaide. Later that year, he topped the poll in the BBC Sports Personality of the Year, an award he won again 2 years later.
Damon, I think, was doing better than he is now. I think he's got in an unfortunate patch. I don't think he's doing as well as he has done, or maybe could do. I think he's made the right decision, because I think we ought to, it's better for him if we all remember him as he was, rather than as he's becoming, if you like.
Despite winning the Drivers' Trophy in 1996, Hill was dropped by Williams in a dispute over pay. He joined the Arrows team and last year moved again, this time to Jordan. His driving career hinted at a revival when, in filthy weather, he won the Belgian Grand Prix last season. But this was something of a flash in the pan. And this morning, Hill, the son of the legendary driver Graham Hill, announced he would quit at the end of this season. He said he was very proud of his record. Adam Minot.